Welcome to Shea Marie's Diva and Vixens podcast.
Just wanna hit right here in my bottom and shit. Yeah, Yo, it's a timeless thing, man.
All the glitter.
It's not family business. Is it cause of reality? Shine the word from a candle. Still getting
Here I am. All the glitter.
It's not good. So it's good, man. Cause it's not reality. Yeah, try to make it young if we could.
Here I am.
J and F is where I started. All Palisades block where my life is frustrating mentally, internally. Draining bitter like my bush tea in my cup. Not even a liquor, no. Can be sugar coated.
Thank you for having me.
So your name is Bella
Maori.
Maori. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so could you tell us, you're in LA right now?
Yes.
So how are things there right now with the pandemic kind of easing up and stuff for?
It seems like it's because it was really strict at one point, but I think it seems to be getting a little bit better. But I guess it depends on what store you go into or what organization, how they're enforcing the mandates. Some more than others, but it seems to be a little bit okay. As for me, I don't go out much because I'm a bit of an introvert, and so I guess it doesn't really bother me. But I still wear my mask when I go out. I'm really used to doing that, and I don't know. There's this little small part of me that's like still cautious, I guess. So I just wear it anyways, and I guess until we kind of acclimate to normalcy again. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm in Toronto, and the mask mandate. We still have the mask mandate here, but they're gonna lift it, I believe, next week.
Nice.
Break for the kids. So, but most people is probably going to still wear the mask, as you said, anyway.
Yeah. It's like a habit. It's like, it's weird because sometimes I'll go out and then, because I keep mask in my car, and then I'll run out of the car and I'm like, I feel naked or something. Like I feel like something's off, and then I'm like, oh, my mask. So I have to run back to the car and go get it. So
it's 2 years people have been doing it. So
I know. Yeah.
So what made you decide to get into acting?
Oh my gosh. I think it started with my love of cinema. Even as a child, I grew up watching, old movies like Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments, and just movies that really exemplify cinema, just the beauty of filmmaking, right? And so I used to just love movies. And so when I went to college, I got involved in theater. And when I started doing theater shows, that's when I felt the love in my heart for it. I said, I just love this. I love to create art. I love to be part of the experience and to express myself in that way. And so I was bitten by the acting bug in college. So yeah.
So could you tell us how you got your first acting gig?
Yeah, let's see. Okay, I think the first job that I did was a music video, actually, for it was like an Ethiopian group, very popular Ethiopian group, and they wanted African girls. And it was the first job that I ever did. And they didn't even speak English or anything. And I went, and it was great. And so that was the first time I ever did like a video. And then my first acting job was for an independent film that I starred in. And I played a butch lesbian. And so it was really interesting because I went down to the audition and I just kind of dressed the part and kind of put myself in that mold, and I got the part, and it was just amazing. I think the film was called The Internship Games. So it was by Baja Films. It was an independent film that came out in 2015 or 2016, I think. And ever since then, it's just been great. I've been doing a lot of commercial work. Once you get on the commercials, it's like you just start doing all these commercials. But I started doing that, and then I did a lot of modeling. And I just recently did, I don't know if you know Baby Keem. He's a Grammy nominated rap artist. I just did his album his album trailer. So that was pretty cool. So
Well,
yeah, it's been pretty nice.
so are you a hip hop fan?
Yeah, I am a hip hop fan. I think maybe so like the old school vibe. I can't really get into like the drill music. No offense. I think all music is beautiful, but I'm more like the old school vibe from like back in the day, the Tribe Called Quest, what is it, Run DMC, like the oldies, just all the hip hop that kind of paved the way for the artists today. My one of my favorite is Mos Def. I really like Mos Def. And
Acting too.
yeah, he's great. I guess I like hip hop music that has a message and is really talking about the Black experience and what Black people go through and just kind of getting, it's like poetry, to words. So
Yeah, because we used to be the media outlet for the Tupac Center in Atlanta.
mhm.
But then the poetry and everything, I know that was his lane. Since today is also March 9th, Biggie's Day.
Wow. Oh yeah, I love Biggie. Can't forget Biggie and Tupac. Yeah, Biggie and Tupac. Yeah. Wow. I can't believe it. It's just
Yes,
wow.
25,
It's like a time in history.
yes, 25 years today, I believe. Because we just reported that
Yeah.
they unleashed a mural for him in Brooklyn, I believe, just a couple hours ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah, he was definitely a genius. I like Kanye West. I think his music is very good, very genius. So
The documentary on Netflix?
yeah, I got to get through. I've been so busy, but I was able to see the first two, and I was just blown away. It was very good. It was very heart-warming. His mom, and it was just a special gift to be able to see that. Yeah, and it really helped me to see a different side of him. That we maybe explain some of the reasons why he behaves the way that he does. He's driven, and his genius comes from that place. So that's interesting to see. I like it was good.
So what are your thoughts on the differences between a biopic and a documentary?
I think in terms of a documentary, I think there's a little bit more of a authenticity because you're right there in that experience as it's happening.
Yeah.
So like they're documenting, like if we talk about the Kanye West, I think what made it so moving is that we were right there with him while he was, just starting out, and when he was trying to get people to hear his music, and we got to see that. But with a biopic, sometimes those can be good too, but depends on like the story that you're telling and who's actually telling that story, whose eyes is that story coming through, because there can be a lot of authenticity lost in that. And we've seen that in, different biopics that we've seen about different artists and stuff like that, where it may have missed the mark a little bit. But I really think documentaries is a good way to go. Yeah.
Do you have any tips for actors that are trying to get into the business?
Yes, I do. I think just stay true to yourself. One thing with me, I'm really big on the independent side of the business. I just produced a pilot, an independent pilot about colorism in Hollywood, and it's already won 7 awards in film festivals. And I feel like if you can be true to yourself, excuse me, about the message that you're trying to say, and you're in the business for a particular reason, not just for like fame and money, then you'll be okay with your success, even if it's not like blockbuster success or if it's just on small scale success. You just have to be true to yourself and your vision and what it is that you want to do in this industry. And so if you can really decide that before coming in, I think that'd be great, because then you can kind of get lost along the way. And we've seen tragic stories of that happening, right? So I think just being true to yourself, and just having the love for the art of acting, having the love for cinema, and the rest will carry you along the way.
So you just brought up your project Ugly.
Roll back. Get on in line. Nice. You in the back, you in the far back, everybody else fall in. Far back.
Could you go into more about what that's about?
Absolutely. Ugly is really inspired by my own experiences as an actress in Hollywood and being a darker skin toned actress. And the opportunities aren't always there versus a lighter skin, or ethnically ambiguous looking girl that gets like bigger parts and stuff. And so, just the treatment that I would get on certain sets and music video sets and stuff like that. And it would really make me question my identity and feel bad about myself and feel ugly. I'm like, I feel ugly. It's icky. It's like an icky feeling. And so I just decided to write a story about it so that I can like put it out there and see if other girls were going through the same thing, and to open up a new conversation about colorism and just see how it affects the psyche and the psychological damages that it does to a Black person. And so the character, she actually, she's trying to get a leading role, but she's always seems to be put in the back. And she's an awkward Black girl, she skateboards and she's like into piercings and stuff like that. So she's a little different. But for some reason, she just can't seem to get that leading role because they're always putting, lighter skinned Black girls in front of her. And so it just shows her journey. And it talks about Black women's identity. And what does that mean in Hollywood? How do you form your identity when you have all these different things put in place that's stopping you? And so she basically has to find her way and understand that, what's on the outside, what people think of you, that shouldn't shape who you are. Be proud of your dark skin, be proud of your Blackness, be proud of, yourself. And who cares if, you're not accepted, just make your own way. And that's a little biographical for myself, because that's why I wanted to do the project, because I wasn't going to wait for to be accepted. I wanted to start and make my own way. And so that's how Ugly got started. So because people were like, ugly, then you think about it, you're like, okay, well, what does it mean to be ugly, right? What is beautiful? What is ugly? And so it's the ugliness of how, the industry could treat people who are different. It's the ugliness of how a person feels inside when they're discriminated against, and the ugliness of what people consider aesthetically ugly on the outside. So it's layers to that word. And I want people to think about that.
Right.
Yeah.
Different levels to it.
Yes.
So do you feel those concerns still with the industry, with the darker skinned women and light skinned women is still prevalent? Because even Halle Berry, I was watching an interview with her and she said that she has issues in Hollywood, and people wondering, how does Halle have those issues and she's an Oscar winner? And she was saying she has the same issues because it's male dominated.
That's a great question. I think what Halle Berry is talking about is a great example how this issue is multi-layered, right? Because Halle Berry, she could be ethnically ambiguous looking, she's lighter skinned, she's mixed and everything like that. So she's gotten opportunities that actresses that probably look like me wouldn't have been able to get, yet she's still discriminated against in other ways, like patriarchy or, male dominated spaces. So it's just hard I think it's just hard for women in general, but then hard for just Black women in general, even if you're light skinned, you're dark skinned, it's just, but it also opens up conversations about like discrimination and just things that women go through in this industry. Halle Berry, I could look at Halle Berry and say, God, I wish, I could have the same, opportunities as her. But then, she's like, I don't feel like the doors are opening up, for me. So it's like, wow, that's an interesting contrast. So,
Yeah, because she said that when she won the Oscar in 2002, I believe, she thought there would be other women after her, Black women after her. She's like, it's 20 years later and it's like the same thing. So she said that's why she said to fix the problem, she went into directing behind the camera. So I know that you do that too. That you do.
Yeah, I directed my pilot series, and yeah, I actually saw the film that she directed. It was amazing, where she was a MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. Yeah, I was so happy for her, and I felt empowered, but I was like, yay, go Halle Berry. But yeah, absolutely. That is one way to take charge and just start your own path, just don't wait. But then, in reality of the situation, there are doors that are still closed. But I mean, with a positive outlook on it, we just, pound those doors down, direct our own films, write our own films, and, see what happens. I'm all about positive vibrations,
Yeah.
So.
So what would you say is the difference being in front of the camera and behind the camera?
Oh my God, there's such a big difference. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Well, behind the camera, to be honest with you, I really like being behind the camera better, because I'm very shy. Like I'm painfully shy. I know it's hard to believe, but I'm very shy, and it's a lot of pressure when you're like a target and everyone's looking at you and expecting you to perform. But when you're behind the camera, you have more control over that, and I like to use my mind more. So I think being behind the camera and doing those type of jobs behind the camera, I'm able to use my intellect instead of just relying on just being, a prop for people to, tell direction to move around and things like that. So yeah, I like behind the camera, but for some reason I keep doing in front of the camera, but
You do both, man. Might as well do both. You do.
yeah, might as well do both, right? But yeah, that's a great question.
So for actors out there, could you give us 5 actors that you feel would be great to study so you can learn the craft at a high level?
Absolutely. I think one would be Denzel Washington, not because of his status, of course, but because he's just so natural. When he's acting, it's like he's a good study. Also Robert De Niro as well. And he also talked about the reason his acting is so good is because he's just, when he's on there, he's just interacting. He's not overdoing anything. He's just like you and I are talking right now. That's a conversation. I'm not like, oh my God, I don't know what happened to you. It's like, it's not over dramatic. So he's a great study to look at. Angela Bassett, she's a phenomenal actress. Also, I like Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce is very good. He's an actor that I've followed for a long time. I really like his work. Also, oh God, I cannot pronounce his name and I feel really bad, but he just did the Black Panther one.
He was also in the movie about the Black Panthers.
Yes.
He played Fred Hampton.
Yeah, he played Fred Hampton. Yes,
Yeah,
he's one of my all-time favorites. Oh my God. I mean, he is just born to do that. He's born to act. If a person wants to know how to act, put on one of his movies and just take notes. He's amazing. Yeah. So those are just some I can think of. I mean, there's so many. But I also think Halle Berry is a great actress. I think she's very versatile, and I like to watch her as well. So yeah.
So which people out there that inspire you to reach kind of their level, like for acting or directing?
Right. I would say Kanye West. because I really, especially after watching the documentary, I really liked his persistence and drive, and he just didn't let anything stop him. I mean, it's just so inspiring, you know. I mean, I could not just sit back from that and think, wow, I have to, you know, I have to aim high, you know, for myself. I really like the people that like the rags to riches stories, you know, that they paved their own way, you know, there was no nepotism involved. And it's yeah, I would say him. Oh God. You know, I really admire Denzel Washington's climb too, because he talked about how, you know, he couldn't even afford his first date really with his wife, and she had to pay for everything or something like that. It's real inspiring. But look at him now. So yeah, I like people that start from the bottom. They're grimy and then they climb up, and it's just beautiful to see them flourish. And so yeah, that's who I look at.
So do you feel, because I brought up Brian Coogler, I don't know if you heard the news with him this morning.
No.
Yeah, he was handcuffed because they mistaken him for a bank robber when he was withdrawing some money.
I think I might have just saw a little bit of it. I didn't know what was really going on. What?
Yeah.
What? Oh my God, that's so crazy.
So do you think sometimes movies and television shows help perpetuate the stereotypes in our communities?
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
That's a very long conversation, but just to make it short, I think images are strong, right? Because it's what people see. And so I think that has been manipulated throughout our history, and even still to this day, to make marginalized groups seem inferior to the dominant group. And this is done through, stereotypes and, making one group seem like they're criminals, or, they're not intelligent, or different things like that. But yeah, absolutely. And certain movies that come out, you have to really be aware of what you're watching, because, there's things in those movies that can form your opinions about, certain races or groups that aren't true. If you believe that. One thing that bothers me, I think, a little bit is like when there's always and this could be an example, when there's a lot of movies about slavery, right? It's one of those things where, okay, we know that it happened, and so why keep showing that? And it's like trauma, for the group that went through that. But then it's also showing, like, I almost feel like they're saying, should we keep this, reminding us that we should stay in our place or something? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist and an activist, so I see things from different perspectives, but yeah, it could be damaging, enough.
You're saying, I know some other people would respond and say, well, other cultures make sure to remind people what they went through, like with the Holocaust. So I see both sides.
Yeah.
But sometimes like unbalanced though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because you're like, what is the motivation behind so much of it? At some point, it's like it becomes trauma porn. It's like what are we doing here? Like, I'm traumatized. But all jokes aside though, but yeah, I think, yeah, absolutely. Media, film, images are very strong ways at creating narratives that are very difficult to dismantle over time. And so, yeah, that's a great question.
You feel when you're making your projects that you need to put in certain messages to get across to the people instead of just entertaining them? Or do you just think it should just entertain people?
No, oh my gosh. Everything that I do and everything that I write, any project that I take on, it is a message behind it.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, of course, you know, when you're a writer, you want to entertain people as well, but like the source for me comes from a message. I can't do it any other way, you know. I want people to talk about these things so that we can formulate some strategies to change them. And so just like we talked about before, media is big, you know, film is big, TV is big. That's one way to get those messages out to a broad audience, you know. Yeah. So like people that, like with my project, people who may not know about colorism, they'll be able to talk about that, or maybe they're experiencing that and they're like, wow, I'm going through that too, you know. So yeah, you know, I think you can entertain people, but at the same time, you can also get your message across of what you want to say. So yeah, you can do both.
Seeing you're varied in the different things that you do. I see that you have a high education. Could you go into the different bachelors that you have? I saw you had multiple.
Yeah, I do. I know, it's so crazy. I have a bachelor's of arts in English literature. I have a master's of fine arts, a master's of education, and I'm currently in my last year of my PhD in philosophy and interdisciplinary studies. And so as you can see, I'm a bit of a geek. But no, I love learning. I love to learn, but also I wanted to be able to get into a space where I would have the opportunity to write and get my message out there on a scholarly level as well.
Yeah.
You know, when you're writing scholarly articles and when you're writing in academia, you can reach so many people, and your credibility, because of the years of research that you're doing and all the work that you're putting in, you establish a more credibility to yourself and your work. And so, and then my mom wasn't having it. She wanted us to be educated. You know, she's like, you know, Black women need to be educated so you could be respected. And so I grew up with a really strong belief in education, but I love to learn. I feel like, you know, every day we're always learning, and I wanted to go all the way. I wanted to take it all the way to the top. So yeah.
I also seen that you're a part of Playboy too.
Yes. 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 That's well, it came along with my modeling. I decided to do it. It's a Playboy Centerfold, and I feel like I'm empowered by my body, and I feel like other women should be empowered by your body, especially Black women, because we're always told to feel ashamed of our bodies.
Yeah.
And so that's just one aspect of me, you know, wanting to empower myself, and also sending the message that you can be, you know, an educated woman. You can also feel empowered about your body, and you don't have to be shamed about that. And I think the woman's body is beautiful.
Yeah.
And the men's body is beautiful as well. And so, yeah, it's just another endeavor that I wanted to accomplish, and for women empowerment. So, yes.
It's yesterday was International Women's Day.
Yes.
What is Women's Month? Women's History.
Yes.
Is there anyone in history that you feel that the world should know, that a woman that impacted the world?
Oh, there's so many, but I would like to talk about the late the Dr. Frances Wesling. She wrote the book The ISIS Papers. I don't know if you've ever
I heard of her name.
Yeah. So yeah, she is just, I just wish more people would talk about her more and watch her lectures. And she is just a phenomenal woman. I mean, she breaks down, you know, a lot of the things that we try to understand about our Black identity in her book, and she was just kick ass, I liked her. Also, Patricia Hill Collins, I think she's done a lot for the Black women's identity in terms of showing that Black women have intellect, and we also, can create our own spaces, and spaces that might be dominated by, the dominant white presence. So she's also a great role model for me. And also the late Toni Morrison. Oh my God, like she is just like, bow down. But yeah, Toni Morrison, I can go on, Maya Angelou.
Those are some big names you mentioned.
Yeah. And there's also some really great Black women directors in Hollywood. Gina Prince by the Wood, Ava DuVernay. I hope I don't mispronounce their names. Just wonderful. And I've looked up to these women. I've watched their films, and they inspire me. So happy Women's Month to all of these great Black women out there. And yeah.
So do you have any upcoming projects?
Yeah, I do. I'm actually working on a documentary. It's in the pre-stages, and it's I guess I could talk just a little bit. It's a documentary about Black women's identity and how Black women try to carve a space for themselves in a white dominated social space. So for instance, like when Black women try to protest, our issues, then it's usually overshadowed by, white women. And so like with the Me Too movement and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just kind of going to document it and get an unbiased perception on both sides, and see if Black women and white women can be true allies. And so that's my project that I'm working on now, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to start shooting it next month. And so, so it's a lot of stuff. I know I'm a bit of a workaholic. I know I can't stop working. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Do the same thing. I'll be doing documentaries, interviews, all kind of different things at one time.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I read up on you. I was like, he's amazing.
So where could people see your movies and projects?
Okay. Yeah, sure. I have my own website, BellaMaori.com, where you can find like updates and everything that's going on with me. I also have my social media, Bella.Maori, and that has like everything that I'm doing as well. And then it has like links to connect to all my other stuff. So you can find that there. If you want to see the Playboy, no. There's links for that, my IMDb as well. And so, you can find me on that.
So, is there anything else you'd like the world to know about Bella?
Just watch out, because here I come. No, I mean, I'm just trying to, make the world a better place, one day at a time. And if I can do that in some capacity before I leave this earth, then to me, I feel like I was successful.
Okay.
Let us know your thoughts below and hit that notification bell after subscribing. Visit wwetvn.com to check out this worldwide exclusive.